Good morning. This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Friday, October 9th. Looking at our impact map for today, still some breezes across southern Utah, the Arizona Strip, and across northwestern Nevada into the Sierra Front in advance of a strong winter-type cold front. That front arrives tomorrow with kind of a potpourri of weather. As with most times, the front separates warmer air to the south and cooler, more moist air to the north, so we will see showers, cooler temperatures, eventually turning to snow on the upper slopes of the central Idaho mountains, but further south, far southwestern Idaho, and then expanding a bit more into some of the drier, temporarily warmer air in eastern Idaho and western Wyoming. Strong winds will be accompanied by still borderline critically low humidity. And some of these winds you can see here in the key up to 45 miles per hour. So have to keep an eye on this, extending down to far northern Utah, especially into the Uintas and northern Wasatch, going into a good portion of northern Nevada. The good news is that the showers and cooler air will push further to the south, capturing far northern areas of Nevada and Utah. Not nearly as wet as we thought just 2 or 3 days ago, but this should be a good dosing for most of Idaho and Wyoming. Still critically dry with strong gusty winds up to 45 miles per hour across eastern Utah and the far south Utah to the Arizona Strip as well. So things will get quite active after a long time of tranquil weather under high pressure. Smoke at the surface this morning on the left, this afternoon on the right. You can see how the smoke kind of starts lifting out. Similar story at the 6,000 foot level from this morning on the left to this afternoon on the right. You can pick your location and see if you're getting better or worse. No precip or lightning to speak of. And initial attack fairly light here, but you can see we have ongoing fires in the yellow just about all quadrants, from Wyoming to parts of Idaho to western Nevada to southern Utah. It's been a long fire season. And this is why it's been bone dry the past 7 days, and even the past 14 days. It's been about 12, 13 days ago that we had the last wetting rains up in Idaho. That has mostly evaporated, and areas south of the Idaho border have not had measurable precipitation for a long time. That reflects on the ERCs. You see them at record levels in the purple, above 97th percentile. And that's including times in July and August. So we're at near all-time records, not just October records in some of these areas in purple across much of Utah and eastern Nevada. And even up into southern Idaho, you see lots of 90th and 96th percentiles. Quite dry across the Sierra Front as well. The 100-hour fuels, again, below 5%. We see the red, and still in the single digits across the rest of Idaho and western Wyoming. Satellite imagery shows things now looking more like October. The big high pressure over us is flattening and weakening out. A little trough of low pressure off the California coast, a much deeper storm system to the north. Initially, we were that these two would phase together and give us a super wet dosing across just about the entire area. It looks like they'll stay kind of separate for now, so still wet across Idaho, but not as wet further south like we were thinking a few days ago. And you see that today, the little low pressure off the coast, still warm, still dry, unseasonably so. And there is our area in the brown everywhere. You can see the low humidity teens to single digits across most areas. Some local breezes 25 to 30 down in southern Utah, the Arizona Strip, southern Nevada. See the wind starting to pick up in northeast California. Otherwise, light and variable winds elsewhere. Saturday, the strong front and its moisture pushes in. You see how much of it is just north of the Idaho border, just trailing amounts further south. Before that moisture rise, keep in mind this is a 6 p.m. map, so 1 p.m., 2 p.m., we will still be critically dry at the surface with strong gusty winds. We have high risk for winds across a good portion of northern Nevada, southern Idaho, into the Uinta Wasatch. It's going to be a fine line in western Idaho where the dry winds and the much more moist conditions overlap. You can see the humidities there up 28 to 50% as you head into the central Idaho mountains, but still in the 20s down here and the teens further south. But on the left, you see those winds. Those colors of purple indicate winds 30s to 40s pushing on in. You can see how strong they are all the way into Wyoming, where humidities are still in the teens. So that's a concern there. Also into the Uinta Wasatch, also gusty winds. Sunday, the front moves through. temporarily drier but much cooler air, but still a combination of dryness down here in the south with wind. We still have high risk for wind in eastern Utah where the rain doesn't really soak in too much. Otherwise, further northwards for Idaho, they should get a good soaking of rain. We'll talk about rain amounts in a second. Across the rest of northern Nevada, just a slight temporary edge taken off with a higher humidity, maybe a few hundredths of an inch here and there. Southern third of our area gets no precip whatsoever. You can see those humidity levels down dry in the south, but much higher in the north. On the left, you can see the winds from the Wasatch on eastwards and southwards, still critical, 30, 40 mile an hour winds. Winds up here in Idaho are going to be inconsequential. They're going to come with much higher humidity. Same thing in western Wyoming. These are the rainfall amounts with this storm. 3-day totals through the weekend. This second shade of green is a wetting rain. You can see most of that stays north of I-80. It does dip briefly down into the Wasatch, but you can see up in the mountains of central Idaho, those shades of blue to light blue to purple, half inch, inch, even an inch and a half. And some of that could be snow, especially above 6,000 feet. The latter half of the storm could dump 5 to 10 inches of snow on the higher peaks of central Idaho and also western Wyoming. Later on in the week, on Monday, you can see we're kind of in zonal flow, seasonable temperatures, no more strong summertime high. You can see our delineation of colors where we're pretty much knocked out for the season here in most of Idaho, where fire season and near record fuels continue in the south and our in-between zone in the yellow. And as we go into Tuesday, you can see how the brown starts to encroach back because high pressure building in over California and especially across the western portion of the Great Basin. They're going to dry out first. You see them critically dry by Wednesday, and then by Thursday, most of Nevada and probably 2/3 of Utah and the Arizona Strip are back in business with near record dry fuels. Still basically out of it for most of Idaho and western Wyoming. 7-day precip totals not much different than the first 3 days, and the long range outlook October 16th to the 22nd, above normal temperatures, much drier than normal. So for about half of our area, fire season will continue. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day.